Adams Automotive is the #1 auto service shop in America. They were at $3 million. Just 5 years later, you guys are hitting $80 million.
It has nothing to do with the car, but everything to do with customer service. People think they actually have to do the repair. You just have to sell the job.
I've never seen somebody as obsessed as you about their sales scripts.
I can call any shop in America and I can say, hey, I got a check engine light on my car. Can I come bring it in? And they just say no.
Can we actually do one where you can call somebody right now? We can bleep out the name. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Rilla Labs. I am your host, Sebastian Jimenez, the founder and CEO of Rilla. And today I have an amazing superstar guest, Joe Adams. He is the CEO of Adams Automotive. And I am so excited to have Joe on the show because Adams Automotive is the #1 top performing auto service shop in America. They were at $3 million of annual revenue in 2020. And just 5 years later, Joe, you guys are hitting $80 million in annual sales. Joe, so glad to have you on the show.
Man, I'm ready to run through a brick wall now. My God. When we met each other, you were like, yeah, I basically just look for the sales dogs like in every market. And then I just try to monopolize and dominate the market. And I was like, nice to meet you. Like,
that's the hammer.
Yeah, the hammer, the Texas handshake. So yeah, honor where honor's due. Todd Hazy is my personal mentor. Obviously, my parents are so amazing as well. But he came into our business in 2020. I could tell you the whole story. But he's put his playbook in and we're scaling to $1 billion, baby. Let's go. That's
so for people who don't know about you and they don't know about Todd. So tell us, first of all, how did you get started here? How did you get here? And then how did Todd Hayes, who's a really important part of the story, how did he come into play?
Yeah, so my parents are classic master tech turned owner. My dad's a savage, but 17 years in. So he started out of a gas station with 2 bays and $600 in his pocket and his tools, and his first customer was his brother, and he needed a timing chain on his 1976 something, which today is $6,000, but back then it was $150. That's what he charged him, which is crazy. And and he put some money in his pocket, and then he scaled the deal. We did $2.8 million in 1997, which, you know, if you're netting 32% of that, you can put your kids through private school and like have a great life, and that's super great. But he self-admittedly got more absentee, and he doesn't have the same skill set. You know, like 0 to 1 is way more difficult than 1 to infinity, in my opinion. And I could never do 0 to 1. So honor where honor's due. He built our amazing business, but we kind of flatlined for 20 years. You know, single unit, not interested in like opening a second store until we perfected the first one. Was kind of my dad's thing. And so yeah, we're a faith-based company, and my parents made a outsized donation to their church that they didn't feel comfortable doing because they felt led to, and that was in January of 2020. Todd just randomly showed up, and my dad tricked him. He was like, hey, I have an accounting error. I want you to come, because he was a consultant, you know. He sold his company for like $20 million in the 90s, and he was in his 30s, and he's 65 now. So he came into our facility. We got the biggest facility in America. Your average shop has 10 bays. We've got like 56, and he was like, couldn't help himself. Basically, he was like, I will operate this machine. And so, COVID happened. We went straight up through COVID. I coincidentally tore my ACL and moved home during COVID, and I hated the business for all the reasons that everybody hates the business: negative technicians, people getting drunk after work, people stealing from you, taking advantage of my parents, drama. When you're not making a ton of money, it's actually extremely stressful. And he doubled our store in 4 months with his concept. And so
What is his concept?
His concept is say yes on the phone, and the customer pays for everything. And it has nothing to do with the car, but everything to do with customer service. So for example.
So what does that mean? Say yes on the phone, and why is that so important?
I can call any shop in America. I can do one right now for you if you want. And I can say, hey, I got a check engine light on my car. Can I come bring it in? And basically beg them to spend money at their business. And they just say no. They're like, no, my diagnostic technician gets off at 3 o'clock. Can you make an appointment for Monday? I really don't know what to do for you, bud. Because the type of person that gets into the industry for some reason is the classic E-myth. It's a technician who thinks they can do all of it themselves, so they make their own for cheaper. And it's a nightmare, and it spins off negative people. And they got a super low self-esteem.
Why do they say no to the customer? No, you cannot come in. Is it because they're not working many hours? Like what's the reason?
It's because they think that they have to actually do the repair on the car. And they think, I can't do that. And I'm so tired of getting the shit beat out of me, excuse my language, by customers because the reputation of the industry is find one you love and trust, or they will take advantage of you. Have you ever heard that in the car repair space?
I've seen a Shane Gillis show that
tires. Yeah, exactly. Don't change my oil. Don't touch anything else on my car.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so what they do is they're just like these, they don't want to be vulnerable with customers. They've been beat up so many times by customers that they just think about, I can't provide bad customer service because I just can't get to the oil change today. I can't get to the check engine light today. Where that's not how it works. The customer just wants to get their anxiety fixed. They got a check engine light on their car. They don't know anything about their car, and they want information fast. So it takes no time at all for me to say yes on the phone. I can come pick up the vehicle right now.
Yeah.
I can get you information. I can sell you an $1,100 repair.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take my time with it to make sure it's done right. And then they're like, great. Can I get a ride home? And it's actually very simple. But people think they actually have to do the repair. You don't. You just have to sell
bring
the
the
job.
customer in.
You just have to sell the job.
Right.
And I don't actually need to. And there's going to be technicians, hopefully. Well, technicians probably won't watch this, but they'll be like, oh, well, what if it's a cam phaser diagnostic, blah, blah, blah. And like, most stuff that breaks on a car is predictable. Like, we're going to get bad brakes. We're going to get suspension components. We're going to get oil leaks. They all come off the same factory floor. So I can tell you, like a Jeep has a 3.6 liter engine or whatever. I'm not a technician, but it always leaks oil from the oil cooler. If a customer for the Jeep calls me and they say, hey, I've got oil leak on my driveway, like I know exactly how much it costs to fix that repair. So I can say, yes, absolutely is now a good time to bring in your vehicle. Give them a tour of my amazing, beautiful facility with a fish tank and a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with car repair. They meet my team, and I could say, I'm making up a price here, but hey, we're going to have a 3-year warranty. Your total investment's going to be $1,862. I've got a loaner vehicle pulled around. I'll have more information to you later this afternoon. Is this going to be the best phone number to reach you?
You
at?
put them in a loaner vehicle so they can leave while you guys fix
Uber,
the car.
whatever, shuttle them home.
And now you have time to actually fix it, and you don't have to be like under like intense, pressure.
And then when we have scripts in our sales process, we say, hey, while the vehicle's in here, I'm going to go ahead and look over the rest of it to make sure it's in tip-top shape. The worst call I could get is 2 weeks from now, and you just spent a bunch of money on your car, and now something's fallen off or you're stranded on the side of the highway. So I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't say all that at the end, but then I get to look over the rest of the car, and guess what? These cars have 100,000 parts on them, and they are designed to break, so you buy a new one.
Yeah.
That's how it works. And our average ticket's $1,000.
What's the industry average?
Probably $200.
Jesus. So that's like 5 times.
Yeah, and we can get better. I think we can get to $1,500. I think we're implementing some really crazy stuff. Rilla moved our needle 23% in 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's not even integrated with our point of sale software. So shameless plug by Rilla.
What? That, saying yes to the customer, and most people say no, which is a wild concept to me. Like,
compete in my space, bro.
That's crazy. Can we actually do one where you can call somebody right now? We can bleep out the name.
Pick any major market that's not New York or Hey, my name's Joe. Do y'all work on Suburbans?
Yes.
Okay, if there was a check engine light on my Suburban, do you know how much that would cost to fix?
I mean, we just have to diagnose it and see what the light's on for. There's about 75 to 100 different codes that will turn that light on. So it just depends on what's going on with it.
Okay.
To check it out and diagnose it and let you know what's going on, get your estimate, it runs $179.83.
Oh, okay. Okay, wow. Just to look at it? Just to look at it, it's $180?
It's to diagnose it and tell you exactly what it's going to take to fix it.
Okay. And how late are y'all open?
Till 5.
Okay. So I get off work. Can I bring it by around, it's 1 o'clock now, maybe like 3:30 or 4?
That would not leave me enough time to diag it. I mean, it could take up to 3 hours or so to diag it and see what's going on with it. Depending on what code's in it and what system it pertains to.
Okay.
So there's no way that would give me enough time because I need the car for, like I say, a minimum like 3 or 4 hours just to look at it and see what's going on.
Okay.
Test everything.
So I got let's see. You know how AutoZone pulls codes?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a cylinder misfire. What does that mean? Do you know how much that would cost?
I mean, it could cost
I'm going to get him to tell me it's an engine.
It could be $250 to $6,000.
Okay, what's like
the purpose of diagging it and seeing?
Oh, I get it.
It could be something as simple as a coil, a spark plug, a plug wire. It could be more invasive, like a broken valve spring, a flat cam. I mean, a valve itself, a rocker arm. It could be an engine. So that's
an engine.
That's the purpose of the diag. Yeah, if it's got a bad cam, that means the motor has to come out of it. So that's around the whole range of different things. It's like you don't know until somebody goes in there and tests all that stuff and see what's exactly causing it.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just get a new car then. Okay. Well, I'll figure something out.
All right.
Thank you.
Why do they say no to the customer? They say they close at 5.
They said no about 15 times.
And but you said
you're not a customer. You're not a car guy. Did you understand any of the words that he said?
I'm not. I was like mumbo jumbo Klingon from Star Trek.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah. I mean, it could be a spark plug. It could be. And I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. He just has no training. It's like it could be an engine. It could be valve. It could be It's like you don't have to fix the car, brother. You just have to give me good service. Can I call one of my shops? And show you?
Please. Let's do it. So, which shop do you want to call?
I'm going to do the exact same thing. Any of them. Call Adams Automotive. And that guy's open Monday through Friday. He's not open on the weekends. It's
Adams Automotive.
It's literally the easiest. It's literally the easiest market to.
Adams Auto Group. We're gonna call the one.
No, it's got 1,400 reviews.
No, this is in New Jersey, Texas. Yeah. Okay. Adams Balak.
But Blaylock.
Or Cypress.
Either or.
Okay. Let's call Blaylock.
This is a live audit.
Yeah.
Calling Adams Automotive. This call is being recorded. Please hold for the next available agent.
I'm gonna have to do a weird accent so they don't recognize my voice.
Thank you for calling Adams Automotive. Donnie speaking. How may I help you?
Hey Donnie, do y'all do check engine lights on Range Rover?
We sure do. Is now a good time to bring it in?
Oh yeah. How late are y'all open?
We're here till the last car leaves. What kind of vehicle you have?
It's a Range Rover. I get off work at like 4. Could I bring it? Are y'all open this weekend?
We are, but we can also come pick it up if it's convenient for you. We can come pick it up and then drop it back off. Have you been with us before?
No, this is going to be my first time.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Question to control.
Let me set up a profile for you. The first name?
Joe?
And the last name?
Adams?
Joe Adams.
Boom, player, you freaking beast. Oh my God. Hey, dude, I'm on a podcast.
Different on the phone.
I know, because I had to fake my Donnie Hani. He's a beast. Donnie Brasco. Hey, you're live on a podcast right now, and you executed.
Job,
good job, buddy. We really called our shot. So, hey, man, great job. You get back to work. Go make some money. Love you, buddy. Later, bye.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So he did really great.
He just said, yes, bring the car in anytime. Mm-hmm. Are you guys open in the weekend? Yes, we are, but we can come and pick it up for you.
Yeah.
The other guy was like, nope.
Nope, and F you, and how dare you consider bringing your car in right before we close. Don't you know how busy we are?
And then you're getting off of work, and he said, we're open until 5, and you said, hey, I get off of work at 3:30, can I bring it in at 4? And you're like, no, it's going to take me 3 hours.
And we say, we're here till the last customer. We say, the script goes, we're open till 6, but that's just what the sign says. We're here to take care of customers. That's what we say.
Until the last car leaves is what Donnie said.
Yeah. And
what is there some operational sauce behind this that allows you guys to do this, or it's just literally like carrying?
We close deals. We can sell.
So for you guys, it's not you guys getting in a customer in the door is not a cost center for you guys. It's a profit center. The other guy was in the phone was talking about it like, oh my God, what a pain in the ass.
Yes.
I can't be. It's going to take me 3 hours.
Because yes.
But you guys are like, oh my God, he's excited. Donnie's excited to bring the car in as soon as possible.
Range Rover? That's a $2,000 average.
Why is it? Why? To unpack this for me. Why is it that you guys see customers as profit centers and other people see them as customers?
Todd, he trained us. He goes, okay, our average ticket is $1,000 if I can execute and sell jobs. If I can build a connection with the customer, ask them about their lives, where the kids go to school, get away from the car, they don't even ask the price. If I can say, if I can build a connection, I built a connection with the guy the other day. I couldn't figure anything out about him. And he had a French accent. I go, are you from France? See, I'm not talking about the car. And he goes, yes. And I go, dude, I went to France 2 years ago. I was in the Pyrenees Mountains, and I had this crazy apricot. Oh, my gosh. Do you like the food here better or what? And he's like, oh, no, the food here is terrible. And now it's like we're best friends. And, I did another one at the Now store. It's like you can build a relationship so fast with somebody if you have emotional quotient and you ask open-ended questions. And the Rilla data suggests that if you talk less than the customer at the beginning of the process, you will close more deals. And, in the industry, they think about actually having to fix the car, and there's a 30 to 50% close ratio. And so they're like, this customer is already pissed. They don't want to spend $180, and they're going to ruin my day. Where I charge you $0. See, we didn't charge to come in.
You just could bring it anytime.
Yeah, I'm never going to charge you to earn my business or to earn your business.
Interesting.
It's like that would be like if you went to Amazon.com and they charged you $1
just for going in to visit. Yeah.
But the reason they do that is because they're so insecure and they're so. I'm just speaking plainly here. They have no sales training. The person on before just freewheeled it. We control the conversation. How old are you?
I'm 29. Just turned yesterday.
See how that was a direct question and you answered my question?
Yeah.
We say, is now a good time to bring in the vehicle? Is this your first time in before?
Yes or no?
Can I come pick up the
yes
vehicle?
No?
Are you in the neighborhood? Like, when can I expect you? 1 or 2 o'clock? What works for you? And I'm going to control that customer into a new customer introduction, and I'm going to just blow them away with service. And then if I build that connection in about 5 minutes, they're mine, and they're never going anywhere else because every other shop that they've ever been to treated them like the first phone call.
No. And this is what's so interesting about this. So I asked, what's the secret sauce behind this? Is there some operational, like you guys are able to fix cars faster? Are you guys able to do? It's literally the fact that you actually, the way you present yourselves to the customer actually makes the customers more likely to spend money with you. And you guys are so confident in that you can actually provide them an amazing customer service experience, which just becomes a positive feedback loop. The more happy customers you get, the more money you create, the more you can invest in your people, the more. And it's all to do with customer service.
Yeah, we call it automotive hospitality.
That's what I was gonna say. So Todd, who's a very important,
GOAT.
So Todd, back in the 1970s, 80s, 86. So he founded this thing called automotive hospitality. Is that what it was called?
Kind of. Mobile Car Care was his first brand. He launched with $25,000, and he made $5,000 his first month. And the rest is history. He sold it for $20 million in '97 off of the back of a Polaroid camera.
Because he was taking pictures and sending. He was one of the first people to start taking pictures of the car and updating the customer as to.
Correct. So his unique selling point was he would just assume the sale. He'd say, I'm going to go ahead and get started on your whatever. The total investment is going to be $626. I took a Polaroid picture, and I'm going to save your old parts. You can trust me. I'm going to get this taken care of for you. Boom. Because in the past, there was no pictures and videos. There was no nothing. So it was literally, I just got to trust this guy.
Right.
And the industry has run rampant with people who, like, I've heard of nightmares, and I've seen it where it's like spray paint fluid all over a shock and drive it down a dusty road. So it looks like it's been leaking for a while. Spray paint an alternator and just put it right back in. You don't know what that means. But, like, do you know anything about cars?
I've zero.
Nobody does.
Yeah,
and so
I know that the accelerator and the brake and the wheels.
So most
lights.
You know how to put gas on it and start it. That's pretty much it. Like
I don't even know how to do that.
New York City.
I walk on my BMW feet, man. That's all I got, man. That's my only automotive.
But the industry is so bad and it's so uncompetitive, and that's how I got into it. I was, like I said earlier.
You were like 23.
I was 22, fresh out of University of Texas, 2020. I'm 27 now, and for about the first 2 years, I was embarrassed. I'm going on vacations with my buddies from college, and they're like working at Goldman and working at AI startups, whatever it is. Not back then. And I'm like, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm working for my family's shop, and I just committed, all thanks to my wonderful fiance. We started dating, and she goes, she's a psychologist, and she's a badass doctor, and I'm like, so, proud of her. And she goes, what do you do for work? And I'm like, not excited about it. So I turned 25. Todd finally clicks. I commit. I decided I'm going to do it. And Todd sat me down and he goes, look, why don't you want to be in the business? Well, because all my other friends are working on Wall Street and they're doing, you know what I mean? They're doing these high glamour jobs. He goes, how many of your smart friends, how many people from Harvard, Yale, MIT are competing in the car repair space? And I was like, 0. That's why I don't want to do it. And he goes, that is exactly why you should do it. It is the easiest, most lucrative business on earth.
Say yes to the customer.
Say yes to the customer. That's all you have to do. Like we have AI and we have Rilla and that's it. But we double people's sales in a day because we just tell them to start saying yes. And it's like a complete joke. And Todd said, you know, I'm not going to spoil. I got a marketing call from the Rilla team, and it was the craziest sentence I've ever heard. Like he goes, it'll take you wherever you want to do. You can just have an amazing career in this business, and it's fixing cars because it has nothing to do with the car. It's about taking care of people, you know.
What Todd? So the reason why, part of the reason you're in the podcast and what we're like we've met is and we've you know we have like over 1,500 customers now. I have never seen like, and I mean this, and we've met with you know thousands and thousands of sales leaders. I've never seen somebody as obsessed as you and Todd about their sales scripts. Like Todd, when he came, like when he saw Rilla and he saw the little scorecards with when you saw it, you're like, oh my God, this is exactly, because Todd could tell me a story back in the 80s. You'd be like, I used to have like the Costco, whatever, like the
Radio Shack recorder.
The Radio Shack recorder. And I used to do it manually. And he was like doing every little line of the script. And he was like, can you talk about how did you guys build this culture of obsessing about the words that your people say? Was it just Todd, he had his scripts from the 80s and you guys just started implementing it?
So the number one trait of every successful CEO is they iterate extremely fast. Okay, so Todd is just maniacally obsessed. That's his nature, and he's rubbed off on me, and that's how I am. And so he's just maniacal about iterating his concept and being as fluid as possible. And I was thinking about it on the plane ride here. The whole pillar of our business conceptually is that customers are extremely predictable. Okay. So everybody in the world has heard, oh, I'm going to sell my car. I'm going to go get a new one. Oh, I need to talk to my spouse. Oh, all the objections, right? They've heard every time I come in here, you guys try to sell me something. So and there's a script for that. I say exactly what I said earlier. I say, Miss Jones, every time you come in here, you're not obligated to buy from me, but it is my professional obligation to look over your vehicle because the worst phone call I can get is oil's dripping on your driveway, or worse, you're broken down on the side of the road. And it's something I could have prevented from happening. Now, how are they going to respond to that? Probably pretty well.
Yeah, of course.
Well, for every time your vehicle comes in here, I'm going to do an underhood, mid-rise, full rise, and I'm going to just make sure that you and your family are safe. How can you be like it's literally...
And talk about why that's important, because if you don't say it like that, how do most people say it? And it makes people, because it's like a big distrust in the industry.
So I'm going to say two things. Let me back up. Every actual interaction in the business is a decision tree. If the customer says this, you do that. If the customer says this,
it's like software.
It's literally like AI. It's like if the customer says, I'm going to sell my car, you say, validate, empathize, and then overcome.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to get into in a minute. And you say, because the customer thinks I can't put $2,500 into a $3,000 car. Well, most people don't live in New York City. Do you know what the average cost of a new car is? It's $50,000.
Yeah.
So they'll sell their car for $3,000. They'll go down to the dealership and they'll get into a $728 a month payment. And then they're in debt for 5 years on a $50,000 car, plus tax, plus interest, plus. And then it breaks right when they get out of warranty, and the cycle continues. It's not a $3,000 car. It's a $2,500 repair that keeps you from buying a $50,000 car.
Yeah.
And it's safety, so it's the easiest thing in the world to sell if you're likable. But all that to say, it's a decision tree. It has nothing to do with the car, but everything to do with when you're overcoming objection, if you're in any industry, most people are like this guy. They are combative.
Yes.
And they debate the customer.
Yes.
It's like if you're in an argument with your spouse. You're in sales, by the way, if you're doing that. Look, if my fiance says, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this, my initial reaction is to get defensive and be like, well, you know what I mean? So like our people, if a customer says, your price is too high, the initial reaction is to be like, well, no, our price is actually not too high because we have master technicians, a 3-year warranty, we're super nice, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And then you're not actually listening to the customer. The better way to do it is to validate them, empathize with them, and then educate them. I completely understand why. I completely understand a hesitation about a price being too high. Can I ask you, what did you have in mind? And they're going to say, oh, $936. Man, like that makes so much sense. If you were expecting it to be $936 and we're charging you $2,500, I probably wouldn't do business with us either. Validate, empathize. Because if I invalidate you, now I'm calling you a liar.
Yeah.
I'm literally saying your experience is not real.
Right.
And you're not going to win that argument. It's like, I have to validate you, empathize with you, and then I have to overcome the objection. So what I'll do is I will allude to our business. I'll say, Miss Jones, I totally understand that. I'd be in the exact same situation. What I like to tell customers is we've been in business for 45 years. You give them the smile.
Yeah.
45 years, and we just didn't build our business by being triple the guy down the street. You saw how busy we were when we came in, right? Right? Yeah. And then I can overcome, it's probably, we are selling you a full system with 3 engine mounts, and they're just recommending only the one.
Right.
We're recommending brake pads, rotors, and a fluid exchange, and they're only recommending the brake pads. Or we have a 3-year warranty and a master technician, and they have a guy with no certification, no warranty. We have a lot to learn. We are maniacal in that way. But all of that to say, I don't know how I got on this tangent, it has nothing to do with how good you put the water pump on the car.
Yeah.
But everything to do with, are these people likable, trustable, and are they going to give me peace of mind?
So is you guys' average tickets and conversion, your average tickets are much higher than the industry's. And that came as a result of the way that you guys treat customers when they come in, the loaner car, the entire process. And this bottom of the funnel, higher average ticket, higher conversion rate is what allows you to say yes to the customer in the top of the funnel, because you know that predictability, you're going to close X percentage of that. And the close rates must be higher than the industry average, I imagine.
Yeah, we don't track it down to the car, but off the top of my head, it's like 95%. We track in Rilla missed sales on safety, and there's not that many.
Yeah.
It's like the AI doesn't find that.
It's like, that if you get a customer in the door because of the process that you guys have implemented in there.
On the ISO.
Yes.
The ISO is what they came in for. See, the industry, typically kitchen sinks. So if any shop out there is trained, they will come in for a brake check, which is $800, $1,200, depending on the car. And they'll be like, hey, your car needs $6,000 worth of work plus the brakes. How much do you want to do? And then they cross their fingers because they don't know how to sell.
Right.
And they just don't want to get beat up by the customer. What we do is we recommend we don't recommend, we assume that you're going to fix the brakes. We're going to lock that in. It's like almost impossible that we miss the brakes on a car that we actually want to work on.
Right.
Because sometimes there's these cars that are 25 years old and haven't been well maintained, and then it's a train wreck. You don't want to do business with those types of cars.
Yeah. So you're also very focused with the customers that you. So how do you? So when you get a call from certain customers that have like something that you cannot help them with, what do you do in that situation?
That's the ultimate sale. If a customer calls me about a body shop and I convert them into an oil change visit, then I'm top dog. No, but that's the thing. One of our managers, Glenn, he's so good. Shout out, Glenn. He customer literally called me and goes, oh, I got the wrong number. I was trying to call the sandwich place across the street. And Glenn goes, honey, you got the right number. Let me tell you about our business. When's the next time you need an oil change?
I'm trying to buy a sandwich and I come out with a car repair. That's crazy.
And converted her. And she, it was like later, but eventually that car came in. I don't know the rest of the story, but we have one story where the guy was calling for a price check. Okay, you're gonna love this. I might botch this story, so don't get upset with me, Glenn. He called in like February or something for a price check, and we couldn't get him out of the other shop. And Glenn goes, you know what, man? When's your state inspection? I want to call you when your state inspection is due. I'm going to come pick up the car. Like, let me earn your business, man. I'm going to send you a tour of our facility. Come just see it. Just check us out, man. Have a cup of coffee. So good. And the guy shows up 3 months later. After our BDC center reached out to him at 3:51 on a Sunday. At 4:04, the brakes were sold, and it was $1,000. And it was a state inspection. So he didn't come in spending money.
Right.
We had to convert the $1,000. The next day we presented it was like $4,000 more worth of work on a FJ Cruiser. I'll never forget it. And it was like a relentless pursuit of the customer, pays for everything. Like, who paid for this microphone? Your customer. Me. Yeah. This is my microphone. So, but who paid for me to pay for this? It's like the customers, And when you think like that and you stop thinking about the actual execution of the car repair, you just walk differently.
You guys also open for longer because, even in the calls, they close at 5. You guys say like, hey, we work in the weekends. bring it in anytime.
Retail.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like if you logged into Netflix on Sunday and it didn't work. You know, it'd be like if you had to fly, you know, United and it didn't work on Sunday.
So you guys are working 7 days a week?
5-day shifts, but yeah, we're open 7 days a week because we're open on the holidays because people's water pump doesn't know what day of the year it is and they'll break down on the side of the road on their way to mom and dad's house.
How do you recruit people that can work in that kind of like high intense environment?
How do you recruit people to work for Rilla?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same, you know
I recruit D1 athletes.
Yeah, so we call ourselves professional business athletes.
Yeah.
We're psychotic.
It's
We call it the NFL. We're like, you think you're good, but you're not. You know, like we're looking for like super cocky people that are actually a train wreck to manage, but they have the gift and they're really competitive, and I can beat it out of them. I can like servant leader them out of being an ego, like because they see how good we are.
You can turn their obsession into the customer. That's what we do. We try to look for very obsessive people about whatever it is. Like they're obsessed about Bitcoin.
Maniacal.
They're obsessed about you know whatever it is, and we try to turn that obsession into their customer.
100%. And we pay them more. And how do we pay them more? We charge more. And how do we charge more? Because we're really, really good at customer service. And
that's
we
the
can close
positive
deals.
feedback loop.
Yes.
That's the positive feedback loop. Saying yes to the customer leads to higher average tickets, higher close rates, which allows you to recruit top performing talent, which then, again, better
Flywheel.
customer service. That is so great.
The job is actually incredibly easy
Right.
if you can close deals
Yes.
on safety. And 99% of cars have a safety issue. We have a guy, oh my gosh, Charlie Zalakos is such an animal. He does not even do state inspections. And if you don't know what a state inspection is, the city or state you live in requires that your car is inspected by the government or inspected by a shop, so that it's safe on the road. His shop is not certified to do inspections because of Massachusetts state law. It's like really restricted on how to get a sticker. Hey, do you guys do state inspections? Absolutely is now a good time to bring in the vehicle. And they all day long will sell $2,800 worth of safety.
Yeah.
And then they'll take it down the street and pay somebody else to do it for $35. Even on waiters, dude. Yeah. Like it's crazy. They are crazy. They're so good.
Talk about that. Like you guys figured out a particular part of the process, the loaner car, where you actually try to get the customer out of the shop. The customer calls anytime, bring it in, bring the car in. You try to actually get the customer out of the shop. How did you guys figure that out? What does that do for the business?
One of my dad's rules is if you don't have a car, you do not have anything. So I have to convert them over the curb. The second one is if I don't have them out of the car, I don't have much. Like, because sometimes people back in the day would just show up and be like, hey, can you look at this real quick? If I can get you home psychologically, it's like my car's in the shop. You know what I mean? It's like, whereas if you're in the waiting room, you have the opportunity to just leave and you drove your car in, you can drive it out. You know what I mean? If your car's in the shop, it's a little bit different. So we close deals just to get the customer home, whether it's a loaner.
You get them an Uber or a loaner car.
Or a shuttle, you know what I mean? Most people get their car fixed where they work or where they live, so it's not very far. It's like where you get gas and groceries. We're so focused, we're so intense about Rilla right now that we're thinking about putting it in the shuttle.
And the shuttle
and the
back
driver, you know, most people's shuttle driver is like the lowest paid guy, but we're going to put a hammer in there. And he's going to be like asking you open-ended questions about your life. Like, man, you just got back from Florida? Tell me about it. Oh my gosh. And then freaking Mike is going to be calling you, the sales advisor, and he's going to be like reading the Rilla transcript. And he's going to be like, Eddie was telling me that you guys just got back from, you know, the Keys. How was that? Man, I just got, or he's going to like find something to connect with you on and close you. You know what I mean? Like it just has nothing to do with the car, man. It has nothing at all to do with the car. It's broken. It's bad. How much? How long does it take to get fixed? And do I like or trust this guy?
How many people are doing this in the industry right
Zero.
now? I
used to get nervous that we would make these phone calls. It was not staged. I just like told you to pick a random.
Literally,
one.
I picked the first Google search results. I was like, okay, whatever the name was, and you said, bam.
Nobody. It's an unlimited.
Not even the large, because there's a lot of large companies in the space.
Nobody makes money at unit level like we do. I mean, Firestone has thousands of units, and you know, Midas has thousands of units, but the average store in America does 100,000
a month
in revenue. They barely
like
make
1.2.
money.
How much does your biggest store make?
Our record year is 12 million. Yeah,
that's crazy.
We did 1.2 in a single month, and
that's like 10 times.
But really the real,
and it's the same kind of like the same type of unit economics typically.
I mean, yeah, we did a. I can't wait for the P&L to print at the Woodlands location. It has 9 bays, so the average shop in America does 100K out of about 6 to 10 bays. The Woodlands location has 9 bays and did 670,000 last month. And if you're familiar with the industry, it doesn't even sound like a real number. Yeah. It's like, and Rilla moved their needle 25%. Mike Quinn has put over 80 like 8 days in Rilla or something
just
in
reviewing
2
game
months,
film,
you
yeah.
know? And the guys love it, man. They love the freaking video game. They love hitting their numbers. It's just so fun. It's so fun.
One of the things I've noticed just in the brief time that I've been able to get a look at this industry a little bit up close, because I visited your shops, is in a sense, you know, when in home services, you have a lot of the operators are on service time on the new softwares and stuff like that. And if you look at, you know, auto service, you know, you have the tech metrics and the shop monkeys and the shop genies. And it seems like to me that the adoption of cloud kind of technology is, you know, in the new wave, at least, it's a little bit behind home services in terms of like how the, you know, ServiceTime's $1 billion, you know, 800 million, you know, publicly traded company. Techmetric is on that kind of up into the right curve. But what's very interesting is you actually look at the people, like you talk about Mike, you talk about yourself, like they're very tech savvy. Like I go to the shop and there's like so many monitors.
For us,
yeah, for you guys, like it's like so they're super fast with the keys, like they're like on the keyboard shortcuts. They're so like super tech savvy. And even you grew up like with some old software in the 1990s. I have a hypothesis that it's like this market is actually bigger than home services because the cars break more often.
More expensive.
They're more expensive. Like
Safety.
if you think about like a typical,
It can kill you. No, it really can.
Yes.
Your garage door could kill you, but there's like a lower percentage that it does. So continue.
So my hypothesis is like it's a bigger market than home services, and that's why you already had like some of these old kind of like ERP softwares are really big multi-billion-dollar operations. But I think it's like the industry was more tech savvy, more tech advanced because technologists wanted to come after it. But then you had all these entrenched players that didn't have any reason to innovate, and now you have like the new wave of like the tech metrics and the shop monkeys and the shop genies that are trying to disrupt that. So in a sense, it's almost like the industry was a failure of its own success because it was a very big market. The technologists came early in the 1990s when the internet was getting started, but then that software kind of got old and archaic, and now the new wave is coming. That's kind of just my brief observation. What do you think about the technology adoption, you know, in the industry at large and how it's playing out?
I think, so one of the things we say, I don't know if this answers your question, is just where my mind's going, is we have a saying, higher technology equals higher customer contact. The entire industry is running away from the customer. They're trying to text estimates over and send pictures and videos and get approvals over text and like send updates over text. And like, we're trying to automate everything with AI, like estimate building. We want all of the transcripts to be printed in the RO repair order. I want literally your job is to sell at this company or fix a car. That's it. Like, and that's what pays the bills because nothing
Leave
actually.
the human thinks to the human beings and the machine thinks to the machines. Yeah.
That's a great saying. You know, like the industry wants to run away from the customer because they're a low close ratio like that, like you heard, and they're insecure and they think of themselves like a technician and that they're not worthy. And that's the most gratifying thing about our business is, I'll just say it, you know, like I had a guy that I talked to on Sunday and he's having a baby in October and he looked at me and he was like, this company changed my life. And it's the most gratifying
One
thing.
of your employees.
Yeah, because that's the most gratifying thing on planet Earth because it's like the whole industry is blue collar, beat up by customers, doesn't think they're worth anything, doesn't think they're worth making 100,000 or more. Some of our guys make so much money, and to be able to sell jobs and get yeses from customers, and you start to think more highly of yourself, and you go home and you start winning, and you're making more money, and everybody wins, and like you buy a house for the first time, and you become a winner. And you asked about technology, but the industry is so full of these people who just don't win. 50% of the customers say no. They say, no, you're taking advantage of me. I'm going to
They say no to the customer says but no back to them.
And what Todd says is that he goes, imagine going to a restaurant and you're the GM of a restaurant, and about halfway through dinner, about 50% of people get up and they walk out.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah.
And the industry preaches 50-50 close ratio is what is good. And we're like, no.
95%.
I'm going to use technology to sell more jobs and talk to customers even more. And all the technology is, I don't speak the same language that you do, so forgive my ignorance on some of the stuff I may have not understood properly, but the technology in the industry is literally being created to talk to the customers less. To the 80%.
So it's moving
shop,
in the wrong direction.
The 80% shop is the guy that just answered the phone. 99% shop, but the long tail is the actual market for selling software. There's more shops that exist that aren't actually that good at selling. So if you can put a really good software in that helps them sell jobs because they don't know how to sell, then it solves their problems and you can have $1 billion company.
What is it about the industry that makes people? Is there some? Because you mentioned it's technicians that come into the industry, then they build their own shops. Is it the fact that they are like less naturally extroverted and talking to people, like they don't want to? It's like hard for them to transition.
It's the classic E-myth. Have you read this book? It's like the technician thinks they can, they're fixing the car and they're like, man, why am I giving away 80% of the profit to this guy who just shows up and doesn't do any actual work?
Right.
I'm going to go do it for cheaper and I'm going to keep all the profit. And then they get into their business and then they realize it's about payroll and admin stuff. They have no idea how to recruit technicians. They think there's a shortage in the industry. They have no idea that it's actually a sales job and how to pay people properly. And they think bottom up on the P&L and they just like become bitter and negative and they hate customers and they start charging $179 diag and they just spawn off this next generation of negative technicians that are working for them that they don't pay enough money. They don't give a 401k. They don't give them time off. They don't give them tools and training. So they go, I think I could do it for less than this guy. And then it's like this cycle. And so it's endlessly fragmented mom and pop, no consolidation across the entire industry. And we're going to take the whole market.
Talk about, because that's one of the things you told me about when I visited your shop, which is that technicians are a very hot commodity because they are actually really skilled at being able to fix cars, which is a hard thing. And I saw a lot of the technicians in your shop, like their stations that they have.
Their houses.
It's like, I walked up to one of the technicians and I said like, holy crap, man, this is really cool. It looked like an Iron Man thing. And that guy was so happy, man. Larry. He was like smiling. Yeah. He was like, yep. And he started showing me all this stuff. Yeah. And they're owned by, like, they own their own things.
Correct.
Like, this is not owned by the company. That's their tools.
Correct.
That they use. And they could pick up and pack up and go anywhere.
They got wheels.
And so your company, they don't typically do that because typically there's tension between the front of the door staff and then the back, the back office staff, the technicians and the salespeople. Like the technicians, like, you don't do anything. You don't know what you're doing. But at your company, you see the positive feedback loop and the technicians stay.
Yeah.
Because they have jobs, because you keep feeding them really great jobs. And you pay them really well.
We call it leadership from the trenches, okay? So myself, our GM, we talk to customers and our office is actually out in the shop and I will take the wheels off of the car and I will show the brakes to the customer and then put the wheels back on the car. And then I'll give you your parts on a silver platter and say, how much money do you want to make today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when they see me, the leader of the company, with my name on their shirt, getting on my hands and knees to put rubber blocks underneath the car, they move faster. And they see the leadership of the store, they move faster. And you're exactly right. In the industry, there's this wall between the front of the house and the back of the house. And it's like, y'all lazy ass people are sitting in the AC. Why don't you sell something? Yeah. And then the front of the house just gets pissed at the back of the house because they don't actually ride up the car the right way, and it's just nightmare. There's no SOPs on dispatch and DVIs and writing up tickets, and there's just like this feudal thing. I think it's called egocentric attribution error. Everybody thinks they're contributing more than the other people in the business. If you were to write on a piece of paper, everybody in your business, how much do you think you contributed to this business this year? The number would be 250%. Because nobody has compassion for what other people are going through.
Yeah.
The back of the house thinks, those people aren't working at all, when in reality they're dealing with upset customers and they're talking to 15 customers at the same time and selling jobs, and the same for vice versa. So at the end of the day, like, all of it boils down to selling jobs. Like, nothing happens unless a job is sold. I don't get to be on a podcast here. I don't get to have Rilla scripts. Todd had to sell that first job in the 80s, and he couldn't put AI in his business if the job didn't sell. I can't recruit a technician and pay him 50, 60, 70, whatever. I leave that to our managers. I can't pay him that much and give him benefits and 401k and time off, and we've got toolbox programs if I don't sell jobs. You know what I mean?
Watching you guys and just like learning a little bit about Todd and what you guys are doing, it like reminds me of the McDonald's movie. like the founder, when they came up with the speedy system. And it's like this very simple concept of how to turn things really fast. And you guys figured out all the psychology metrics, like auto hospitality, treating the customers almost like they're like look at the comparison, a restaurant.
Yeah.
We're in the hospitality business, not in the car repair business. And because those are the things that drive the profits, and like $3 to $80 million in 5 years on the back of the power of sales and service, man. That is crazy.
It's literally crazy, and it's going to get better. AI is going to automate so much stuff. And I talked to a guy on Wednesday, he'd never heard of ChatGPT. He called ChatGPT Walmart, and I was like, wow, you guys are actually going to get destroyed. And you think, and car repair shop owners out there are, unless you're like one of us, there's so many amazing operators out there. Don't get it twisted, like that I'm saying the industry sucks, but so many people just don't try that hard. You know, they just blame the tariffs, or they blame the economy, or they blame.
You guys are growing still in the tariff year and the
yeah. We doubled in COVID.
Yeah,
you know, we went from 300 to 500K, 250 actually to 500K in 4 months with Todd's concept, because it's so easy. It's literally a triage, and if the customer says this, you do that. You just memorize the playbook, and there's no competition. Like, you just say yes on the phone. You don't actually have to do any of the shit that I just talked about. Excuse my language.
Just say
yes on the phone. And I get so riled up because we have trainings every month, and if you're a shop owner,
talk about that. What are you guys doing now with the trainings?
We have 50 or 60 shop owners and managers. Some of them have 100 units. Some of them have one that come into our business, and they watch us do it, and we train them. And you know, we just literally give them the playbook for basically free. I mean, we charge like a couple $1,000s a seat, and we make a little bit of money training, but it's so gratifying to actually influence the industry like this. And then only about 5% of people actually go home and do it. It's so crazy. We have a guy who went from $150 a month, 55% GP, netting 15 grand, which sounds great. You make 180,000, you own a shop, great. But like, you're getting sued by customers, you know, like all the stress, 7 days a week, that's not actually that much money, like when it comes to all the liability that's involved. And he just went all in with us, and you know, now he does 450 and nets 120 to 150 a month. And that guy's gonna make $1 million or $2 million a year, like owning a shop.
Wow.
And you would never know. But he's a beast. And he just maniacally, he was like, I'm gonna just do it exactly the way you guys do it, and I'm gonna go all in. And it's only 5% of people do it. It's human psychology. They can't understand delayed gratification. It's like, everybody knows how to be fit and have a six-pack. Nobody does it. You know what I mean? Because they just want to talk about the sitcom that they're watching right now at work or something. It's anyway.
Sam Walton said in his biography that every single idea that he's ever had was never original, and it was always stolen or copied from somebody else.
Yeah.
And he literally, the difference is he implemented all of it, and he took the best parts of everybody that he understood in retail, which is a highly competitive market, especially. He was a discount retailer. Most of them in the biography, pretty much all of them, when he started, all of them went out of business. Similar things to what you're talking about, some of the owners, they just want to coast. They don't want to really grow. He talked about some of those discount retailers. They got rich. They didn't want to really do anything. And then he just obsessed about every little detail about how do you set up the aisles? How do you greet the customer at the door? Like simple things that actually create the insane amount of wealth that you're seeing in the teams. Joe, this has been one of the best podcasts that we've done.
Let's go. You guys gotta come on ours. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah, you have one too. And Joe, where can people find out more about you? I mean, we have a lot of sales leaders and operators watching. Where can they find out more about you?
Look up Auto Shop Answers. We're currently transitioning our web presence. But look up Auto Shop Answers and the Houston-Boston partnership. You can find me on LinkedIn. All my stuff's on there. I'm going to start posting a lot more. We're actually building a funnel, or building a portal. Our AI engineering team is building us an all-in-one sort of destination for. We're gonna attempt over the next 12 months to build because we've got great content. It's just all in my brain, and we're going to develop hopefully the largest content library for. How do I improve my shop, my business in our industry over the next 12 months? And I think we've got a really good chance of doing it. So look us up. Come to Houston, Texas for our monthly trainings. Look up Todd Westerland, Todd Hayes, Charlie Zalatkos, Joe Adams, like Bill Broussard, all these amazing people, Glenn Piccolo, that are in our business. And just call our shops. Actually, don't call our shops because we're really busy and we have cars to fix.
Don't call our shops, ladies and gentlemen. But Joe, so glad to have you on the show, man. This was awesome.
Thanks for having me. Boom.
That's awesome.